Hello everyone, welcome to Models and Trains. Following on from my last video where I featured my Fleischmann BR80, Tim from JD Dowd asked if there could be a comparison between the BR80s I have with regards probably to their running gear, because he said that he noticed he didn't see the connecting rods moving, or all of them, or some of them. So anyway, just to clarify the various differences in the models, let's put this one up on the rolling road. So this is a Kleinbahn BR80. This is an 80-028. Now then, I've stopped it there. This is an early one. I bought this for spares or repair, and basically the conrods, it's like they had Mazar rot. They just broke up. So I'll just try and lean it over a touch. So I've made some temporary connecting rods until I can find the correct ones. So there we go, off it goes. So I've done some measuring using some vernier calipers, just to see if I can clarify the differences between the various manufacturers. These are all HO, so let's have a look and see what the differences are. So this one is 35 millimeters wide. That's measured from the side tanks, saddle tanks, to the, it's either side of the saddle tanks. And then, as I said, 35 millimeters wide by 50 millimeters high. And that's from the inside flange of the wheel, where it would rest on the track, to the top of the chimney. So let's move on to the next one. So this is another Kleinbahn, the same running number, BR80-028. Now this has the identical body shell, the same chassis, but again, different running gear, which is a bit surprising. Now I can only imagine that the first one I showed you was an earlier model. So there's the first one, and if you look, you can see the difference in the valve gear. Now then, this one again is 35 millimeters wide by 50 millimeters tall. So on to the next one. Okay, so here's the third one. This is the Fleischmann that I featured in my last video of the BR80. And this is the one that I can understand what Tim was saying, that it looked like some of the conrods, connecting rods, weren't moving. Now if you look at the top linkage there, it's barely moving. So I can imagine when it's running around the track, it's not very noticeable that it does move. But as you can see, it does move. Now then, this one surprised me. This is 38.5 millimeters wide, so it's a clear 3.5 millimeters wider than the Kleinbahn. It's also 53 millimeters high to the top of the chimney there, so it's a full 3 millimeters higher. So I hope that answered the question about the movement of the connecting rods, Tim. Okay, on to the next one. So here we have number 4. This is a Roco BR80 017. Now, if you look, this doesn't have hardly any valve gear. It's basically just connecting rods to the wheels and a simple connector to the steam chest. So again, this one, I'm surprised, being a Roco, how it doesn't really have that much detail. Now this one is 35.5 millimeters wide, 35.5 millimeters wide, 50 millimeters high. So this is about the same as the Kleinbahn BR80. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so here's my fifth BR80. This is a Lima. This has a running number 80005. Now again, if you look at the connecting rods, they're quite well detailed, and the valve operating connections. Now this one surprised me. I'll just move my camera a bit. This one is 46 millimeters wide, so it's 11 millimeters wider than most of the others, including the Klein bands, etc. And this one is 53 millimeters high, so it's 3 millimeters taller than the Klein bands, as an example. It was the width which surprised me, being a full 11 millimeters wider than all the other locos. And for a Lima, it's an excellent runner. So this has its ring fuel motor. Anyway, the question was about the sizes and the connecting rods. So even within HO, which is supposed to be 187, some of these are closer to OO scale, in fact larger in many cases. Lima had the tendency to be quite bigger than OO. Some of their diesels are bigger than OO scale. Anyway, there we are. So let's move back. That's my collection of BR80s and the differences in their mechanics, connecting rods, etc., and the difference in sizes. Okay, so thank you for watching. Bye now.